Now, homeless people in Chester will now have a new place to go if they need some help. A hub for the homeless people has opened its doors to get rough sleepers off the streets, really, and try and get people's lives back on track. It's funded by the government. There's only 11 of these hubs across the whole of the country. Another one is here in Liverpool, but our reporter Claire Minter is in Chester for us this morning. Minty, morning.
Morning to you, Tony. Yeah, central Chester this morning, Hamilton House. We've had to come outside because of the wonderful signal problems that we always get in Chester. But I tell you what, it's a beautiful building in there. It's lovely and warm. It's homely. Had the washing machine going. The kettle was boiling. It's a really nice place to come and feel safe and warm. Let's have a chat with Chris Black, who's the hub manager this morning here, and Janet Lawton, who is the strategic homeless lead at 4 Futures. Chris, good morning.
Morning.
Week open already. How have the first couple of days and nights been?
It's been great. We've had a few guys in staying throughout the week, just somewhere safe for them to stay, nice and warm, no issues, lots of staff around them, lots of support.
Yeah. How many people could you have stopping over in the evening? I know it's 24 hours, but how many people could you have stop over?
Maximum sort of bed space would be for 12 people. We wouldn't want to exceed that.
Yeah. And how is Chester City Centre for sleeping rough? Is it a busy place?
It is quite busy. We had the rough sleepers estimate sort of indicated how much we're looking at nationally with the rise right across the board. Chester isn't an exception to that. We have an outreach team that works with people direct on the street, just trying to utilise this facility now to get them in and get them assessed.
And what are the main problems that, even in just a week, that people are coming to you with?
A multitude of problems. There's customers that present that might have mental health problems, physical health problems, addiction issues. So it's just somewhere, a stopgap where they can stop and get that support with plenty of services that are coming in.
Mm-hmm. Janet, let's talk money. I told you I'd talk money to you. Tell us a little bit about what 4 Futures do.
Okay, so 4 Futures is a service commissioned by Cheshire West and Chester Council, and we provide support across the whole of the borough to people who are actually homeless or who are at risk of becoming homeless. So we can offer preventative support, we can offer support if you literally find yourself on the street, and we can also offer supported housing, which often people need when they've been on the street, when they come indoors for the first time, they need that support.
So who is funding this particular project?
This is funded directly from government. Last summer the government announced their rough sleeping strategy, and they have a target to halve rough sleeping by 2022. And so they offered for local authorities to bid for money to have a rapid rehousing pathway. So Cheshire West and Chester Council, with our support, put the bid in and was successful in getting money for this year, and that's opened the hub, and it's also employed some specialist workers that will give people one-to-one support when they do come in, so they can literally stay with them until they find accommodation and get them settled.
And 24-hour access, that's rare, I'm sure. I may not have heard of it, but is that quite rare?
I think it probably is, and I think it's needed because we want people to come in, and people generally, if they might be reluctant to come in, but if there is a place that is open and, as you've already said, is warm and welcoming, we're hoping that will encourage them to come in. We're hoping that they'll then trust us to work with them, to fully understand their needs and be able to find them a place off the street.
Chris, what are the rules and regulations of coming to your place here?
We have an outreach team that work directly on the street, so they'll engage customers that are actively sleeping rough right across the borough. A lot of the information outreach work on is intelligence-led, so they work with other agencies that are indicating people who are sleeping rough. They begin to engage them in some support and lay out a support plan as such to sort of change their accommodation route. With that, we'd look at those cases, work with them and establish, is it sort of right and suitable to get them in? What's the sort of next step on the ladder, and progress them through the pathway?
Just briefly before I hand back to the guys, we were just saying, weren't we, you know, when you're out and about in town and somebody's on the, you know, on the streets and just smiling and saying hello, even if you don't put your hand in your pocket, you'd just like us to be a human being, wouldn't you?
Exactly. You know, rough sleeping affects everybody at some level, whether they know somebody or come across somebody on the street that sleeps, and it's a situation that anybody can have happen to them. But yeah, we get feedback from the guys. Just even a sort of friendly smile can make that difference in their day.
There you go, Tony. Makes you think, doesn't it? I was going to say, we're just saying standing out and now. It's pretty nippy out here, but this must be nothing to obviously sleeping out of a night, and I'm whinging to the girls here that my hands are freezing, but, it is nothing to what the people who are staying here have to put up with.
Minty, it sounds like a good project, a good idea. Government funding as well. Similar situation here in Liverpool, trying to get people off the streets and just trying to get people's lives back on track as well. 28 minutes to 9. Thank you, Claire. Thank you, Chester.